Alrighty, what is up everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning into another video, man. Today we're going to be doing a Drain Gang style vocal effect. Shout out Blady, shout out Echo 2K, most importantly, shout out White Armor, man, one of the best producers out. Alright, you know, if you've been following Drain Gang for a long time, you would even know that Future was seen in a music video in like 2013 rocking Drain Gang mode. That is rare, alright? Nonetheless, man, so pretty much today's video is going to cover, make sure to subscribe and like and all of that stuff, man. But pretty much today's video is going to cover just how to make a mix that sounds similar to what White Armor and Blady and Echo 2K would kind of end up with, alright? You know, when it's album mode, Blady's stuff really sounds even better than the mixtape stuff. I think if you're a fan, you would notice that. Definitely a lot wider, definitely a lot more articulate. You know, stuff like the Ice Dancer mixtape are kind of more, you know, informal and rough sounding. So there is really a wide variation in the tones that we can achieve. But one thing I have noticed by listening to Young Lean and Blady and all these guys for all these years, shout out Tyboy, is, you know, it's just always unique. There's always something interesting to it, but there's always a kind of constant theme going on, you know, so that's kind of what we're going to be concentrating on. So this will be my style, but these mixing techniques can definitely be applied to this kind of future world vocal tone and beat mix and that kind of thing. I will divide this video into two separate parts. So the first part will be on mixing the vocals, and the second part will be on mixing your 2-track beat, your instrumental, how to get it to kind of pop more. So with that being said, make sure to smash like as well as subscribe. Shout out notification squad. Let's get it.
Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slip my wrist. I've been falling off, can't sleep like this. Stuck up in a dream, just make a wish. I've been falling off, can't think too much. Got me falling down, shouldn't live like this. Say she wanna talk, but I don't wanna. Say she wanna talk, but I don't wanna. Snow falling down. So cold right now, 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 so cold right now.
Alrighty, so there we go. That is the beat that we have, or the mix that we have. So yeah, if you like the sound, stick around. This is definitely one of, you know, I'm going back to the good old hyper complex templates. So, you know, bear with me. This video might be a bit longer than usual, but I will be breaking down some cool techniques and that kind of thing. So yeah, man, obviously when we look at our elements that we have in the mix, we got our main vocal, we have got a double, we've got an ad-lib track, which is kind of just atmospheric singing and that kind of thing, just ahs and that kind of thing. And we've got our background left and right, which is just complementing the second half of the hook. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have, man. If I was to, you know, get the mix back down to bare bones, right, so what I will then do is I will disable the instrumental vocal chain. I will mute all the doubles. I mean, my bad, I'll just turn off the all the effects on the beat. I will turn off the effects on the vocal chain, and then I'll mute all of the background effects so you can kind of hear what the rough mix sounds like. It does sound a bit more bassy, obviously, but if you listen to it for about 10 seconds in, you will start to hear, okay, this is a rough mix, but it's way more bassy than it should be, because I decided to really get up close to the microphone this time around, just to really make sure that I didn't overemphasize the treble. You know, as I say, the further back you go, the more trebly and kind of more treatment you need to do on the treble. You know, I can kind of hear you know, Blady's vocals, and they record nice and close to the microphone is basically what I'm trying to say. So let's take a listen to the rough mix.
Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist. I've been falling off, can't sleep like this. Stuck up in a dream, just make a wish. I've been falling out.
So there you go, you know, it sounds really bare bones, really like primitive, you know what I mean? But once we add all that glistening on there, like that snow, that sauce, you know, we get our vocals to sound good. So one thing, you can see the effects of the beat are still off, you know, that's why it's really important to learn how to mix your beats as well, because what I'm going to do now is I've turned the effects on the vocal back on, left the effects off of the beat, and you'll hear that they don't match up because you know, they both need to complement each other. So, you know, definitely check out the next video I will release, and I will show you how I use these 3 plugins. It will take quite a while to explain that, so I'm leaving it for there.
Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist.
You know, so as you can see, it sounds like something is missing. We'll turn the backgrounds on as well as the effects, and you can still hear something is missing.
Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit.
You know what I mean? And if I was to turn up the volume of the beat, it still wouldn't be hitting the way it should be, you know? So you need to learn how to treat your beats just a little bit. That way you can get that really sparkly upfront sound, you know?
Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist. I've been falling off, can't sleep like this. Stuck up in a dream.
You get me? So there you go, man. Sounds cool. So anyway, enough time spent looking at background stuff. We're gonna start on the vocal chain. All right, so first things first, as you all know, I like to add auto-tune on separate tracks to my vocals. So as you can see, all of these vocals get a separate track. Okay, I don't want any doubling up in the same tracks because that means I can't auto-tune them. All right, I tried EFX, it ain't hitting the same as 8.1. All right, this is the best one, okay? But EFX is cool, man. You know, if it's your first time owning auto-tune, then it'll work out. It's just that I came from auto-tune 5, so I gotta use auto-tune 8.1 or auto-tune 5, which turned into 8.1. You know what I'm saying? I like all of these weird effects that you can use to manipulate your vocal. But yeah, as you see, man, I always keep the same settings, ready 4 retune speed, 4, 8, or maybe 2. It seems to work for me. I always adjust the humanize to 36. It does kind of hit the same on the EFX, so nothing lost there. And I do like to adjust the natural vibrato. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much what I do with auto-tune, and that corresponds on all of the other tracks as well. From there on out, main vocal goes to a compressor. Now obviously in the last Uzi video you'll see I added a analog style compressor right there. If you do not have a hardware compressor, you can just slap a good old plugin on there, the Yala compressor, the Optron 3A is good, whatever you want to use, the modern Lost Angel, unfortunately not for Mac, or you could just use a free compressor, doesn't really matter. But you just want something that is going to level your vocals, okay? So once that's done, man, we end up in the vocal chain. First thing we do with the vocal chain is the Neve EQ. So, you know, for those who tune in every week, I do like to use a analog or a console style EQ to really craft the vocal. So as you can see, you know, when you listen before, the vocal is really kind of bass heavy. So what I do is I do a nice heavy 8 dB cut on 200 to get rid of that kind of gunkiness from the vocal. As I said before, I much prefer to EQ out bass than to try and treat treble. Okay, it is so difficult to EQ treble. You know, when I used to mix online a lot, that was the biggest problem, was that the treble was usually, you know, hard to EQ. You know, the more you EQ a vocal, the less natural it becomes in terms of the treble. But bass, you can really get rid of the bass, and then it sounds like a vocal, you know what I mean? So, you know, start to figure out how you can adjust your mic to get that sound right. Okay, so we do a little bit of cuts here and there. Again, a cut at 200 Hertz. This is a bell style cut. This is a shelf style cut. And then I just do a standard 2.9 kilohertz boost at at 2.9K. I just do a 0.3 dB boost. That is basically just something like that, you know what I mean? If we were at, you know, whatever frequency, it's just something like that, you know? Real nice little natural cut, something like that, you know? And then I do a really hefty boost at 8K, which is a treble boost, so something like that at 8K exactly. Really heavy stuff. That's why you want to make sure you record your vocals nicely. That way you can really have the room to EQ your stuff. You know, if you've recorded your vocals really harshly, you know, you just can't make these cool EQ curves. You know what I mean? So yeah, after that I do a bit of de-essing. So let's just see how much we're de-essing. Okay, 0.6. There you go. After that, what I do is, again, I do a bit of multi-band EQ, or what did you call this? Dynamic EQ, my bad, I forget the name of the skill, but basically it just kind of treats the upper mid-range of the track. So we'll just do these two together, because essentially DS is also kind of a compressor. Dynamic EQ is also somewhat of a compressor. So if I was to turn these two off, you can kind of hear the harshness of the track.
Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist. I've been falling off.
And that works, but it could use a little bit of just control on excessive treble parts. So
yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist. I've been falling off, can't sleep like this. Stuck up in a dream, just make a wish. I've been falling off.
you know what I mean? It kind of just gives you the room to get a bit more aggressive, you know what I mean? And it doesn't make things too harsh. So that's what we do right there. You could use the Fruity multi-band compressor and just compress the high band, and that should give you the same effect. So yeah, after that, man, I do a bit of drain EQ, and this is just a high shelf boost. Crazy high shelf boost. I really just focus on getting rid of any ringiness from the vocal. You know, it was quite a bassy vocal, so we just treat the bassy parts of the vocal. Do a bit of a presence boost at 640, just to kind of get that beef into the vocal, just to kind of make it stand up to the instruments of the mix. The instruments of a mix would usually be around there. So you just want to make sure that if the vocal's clashing too much, you cut that. If it lacks, you can boost it a little bit. And then yeah, I did a bit of a dip right here at 3K, 3.5K, just to kind of dip out that frequency that was annoying me. And then from there on out, I did a massive boost, and there you go. So this 1176 is not doing any compression. If you watched the last video, it's pretty much just a volume control. I just like the saturation I get from this compressor, so I highly recommend using the Yala compressor, which is a free compressor, YALA compressor, which will also give you a nice aggressive tone, and you can just adjust the volume knob on there just to get a bit of analog grid. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do. I'm using the instant flanger today just to use something different than using the same old free flangers. But I like to flange my vocals just a little bit, just to give them a bit of a kind of smoothness to them. Kind of gives it a tape effect. And then just a little bit of delay just in the background. But yeah, so that's the main vocal, man. Doubles we will run through quickly. So the doubles we have right there. On the doubles, we're just doing auto tune. As you can see, same settings pretty much, just the humanize changed. Yeah, de-esser, flanger, EQ just to kind of, you know, put the vocal in a space, EQ kind of at the end, but then most importantly here we're doing a stereo enhancer, and then we set the offset, we offset the vocal by 0.2 milliseconds, so it kind of offsets the vocal, and then I use the stereo separation. That just creates a more stereo effect on the double, you know, just to really separate and divide it from the main vocal. So backing vocals, man, we've got the left and right, and we use auto-tune exactly the same. Those are the auto-tune settings, and then I process both of these in one channel, so I don't have to, you know, double up on the de-esser. And yeah, I just do a bit of an EQ on there just to really put them in a pocket. So, you know, if I disable all of those background effects,
yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist. I've been falling off. Yeah, shooting at your heart, I can't miss. Ice world, everything slit my wrist. I've been falling off.
you know what I mean? They just stay in the background just a little bit, and yeah, they sound good to me, man. So when it comes to all the sends and that kind of thing, man, we've got the same old reverb. I just like this 2016 reverb on there, just the classic old school reverb. I'm really into 80s sounding effects, so you can find your favorite reverb and build upon your sound. That's just what I use. And for the delays today, man, as you can hear, we've got all these crazy delays going on in the background. I'm demoing this Clear Mountain's domain because Bob Clear Mountain is a legend. $250 for this plugin is pretty expensive. Do I like it? I don't think I'll get it, man. I mean, it's essentially the same as the chain I've been using recently, which is just a flanger into a distortion, into a delay, into another delay. And that kind of gets me the same sound as this, man. This just has an interesting reverb sound to it. That's why I kind of like it. But is it worth $350? I would say I'd skip it. But, you know, the coolest part of this delay is you can kind of hear what I did at the end of the track. I kind of automated it in, so I'll let you see what's going on. I think it's on this one. I want you to pay attention to the delay blur and see I can kind of create a never-ending delay effect, which all delays can do, but this one just has a really interesting sound to it. So as you can see, that is the automation. Pay attention to this delay blur right here. Let's get it. So, you know, you can do some cool stuff with this plugin, but man, you can do cool stuff with any delay. You can just turn the feedback up, alright? Nothing too special. And then I use the tape stop effect, so you kind of hear the delay go zoo, so just having a bit of creative fun. Trigger delays, again, I just use the trigger delays on certain parts right there, as you can see. And again, I'm using the Clear Mountains delay, which again, I would just use waves. H delay, I would use whatever, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, just delays to create delay triggers. Again, today's video, you won't see it, but I'm using the Eventide H3000. I've got a hardware unit, but if I wasn't using the H3000, I would just be using the flangers on the vocal send. So I would send it to the, so as you can see, it goes H3000 send, and then returns back into this channel. But yeah, man, so that's pretty much it. I will save the rest for the next video, so I can kind of explain to you how I mix the beat to make it sound a bit more sparkly. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, definitely make sure to subscribe. Feel free to ask any questions below. Purchase link for this FLP will be in the description as well. You will be able to get a free VST version with every download. All my latest plugins will have a free VST version. Just check the description boxes of each product on my webpage, and yeah, you can get mixing. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I'll check out next time. Peace out.